Hey guys, JarNod here again. I just want to give you a little quick state of the game update and a couple other technical questions that I've gotten over the last couple weeks. As far as the state of the game, when the last video came out, I think we were about 1 week into development. I just want to give you like what I've accomplished so far. In regards to the player, I have movement, the WASD controls. I'm still working on some trickiness with like right analog stick on the gamepad for aiming, but like WASD controls with following on the mouse cursor, a light attack, a heavy attack. Like it looks like it's kind of like just a gun, but this is I'm starting with the bow, the archer class. I guess I don't know exactly what I'm going to call it yet. Ranger, don't know. But I have a light attack and a heavy attack. They look awfully like bullets. I have a dash mechanic that needs a little bit of like visual work, but it still moves the player in the direction that he is moving or facing if you're not moving. And we have a little bit of a leveling up where you can choose between damage and health, like a 10% damage increase or a 10% health increase. As far as like an enemy goes, I have a regular enemy that just kind of spawns and chases the players, similar to like a continuous enemy system, kind of like Vampire Survivors, if you've played that before. There's a little bit of pathfinding with the player. Again, a lot of tweaks. This is like very much like get things in, get it ready for a playtest coming up in 2 weeks. The enemies use a little bit of a particle effect. I've been learning some shaders in Godot and some particles, and so the enemies explode in a bunch of pixels. It's kind of fun. I'm enjoying like learning that whole thing. The enemies right now are just kind of melee. They go up and they die. They come up to the player and just die upon attacking them, unless they're the boss. And then I'm still kind of tweaking the system to handle a large amount of enemies. I think right now I can handle, last I checked it was like 200 on screen before some frame rate drops. We have a HUD so we can tell like what your cooldowns are doing for your dash and your heavy attack, what level you are, what wave you're on, how many enemies you killed, and of course the health. Most recently, I got the boss up and running, just a larger square chasing after the player, but he also has like a meteor attack, so you can drop a whole bunch of AoE effects like around trying to not hit the player, and those will like grow to kind of like tell the player when they need to get out of them. Again, lots of this still needs a lot of work, but it is kind of fun to go up and see it, in real time working. You play it and you go like, okay, yeah, I can see where this is going. It needs a little bit of work to polish, but I'm hoping that by the mid next week when we hit the playtest, that it'll actually be in a solid state enough where people will enjoy playing it. I mean, the funny thing is I already kind of enjoy playing it a little bit when I'm doing this. So I think the maximum number of enemies I've killed is 250, but that just means like, y'all will be able to beat it too easily. Back when I was working on WildStar, I was working with the dungeon team and the raid team consistently. There was a kind of like a philosophy with the designers that if the game devs, because we would do playtests and we'd get about, for the 40-man raids, I think we got like 20, 25 people playing just during the day. And if we could get the boss down to 10% with 25 of us as devs who aren't playing like World First Raiders are, then we need to buff up the damage. I think in vanilla, the stories I heard with vanilla World of Warcraft was like if the developers beat the boss at all, it was too easy. So that's kind of like the philosophy it should be, I think, for this. As an update I was able to get my hands on some of my own merch, which is nice. I apologize for not having that in the last video. This is the long sleeve tee. I really like the way it turned out. I think that the color on the logo is a little bit like just a little bit too flashy. I need some tweaks on it, and I've had some requests for like artwork and then logo put somewhere else. As far as technical questions, I don't want to turn this into a technical game dev channel. I want to just provide feedback about my game so that people can come in and see like progress we've made, see some progress we've made, see like what we've done, some cool art, stuff like that. More of a state of the game, because I want to provide like information to players. Not so much like if people have questions about like how did I accomplish this, and then you can join the Discord. I'll have a link below, or at least a URL, because YouTube is weird about links right now. A URL below that you can go and join the Discord. It's always open. Come join us. I'll happily answer any questions. I'm just not going to use YouTube as a platform to answer game dev questions. But I have gotten like higher level questions. They make a lot more sense to me to answer, because some gamers just like curious about like, why did you choose Godot versus Unity versus Unreal? So I figured I'd answer that one. So I decided to use the Godot engine. I first learned about it probably summer 2022 or fall 2021. I don't remember exactly. I mean, I know those two big differences. I started playing around with it a little bit, like, oh, this is kind of fun. But really what nailed it for me was when I was working for Exile Entertainment, and we had a 2-week break over Christmas, and I decided to spend those 2 weeks making a game from start to finish, just to see how long it would take, what kind of pitfalls would I run into, and all that type of thing. So my little daughter, who was 3 at the time, she told me that she wanted to a kitty game, like a game about kitties. She loves cats. So I made a little game about a little girl who runs around a neighborhood kind of thing, that trying to find all the cats to pet them and catch them, and when you catch them all, you've completed. It's on my JarNod.itch.io, excuse me. I'll put a link to it in the description. It was a basic thing, but it was fun to make a game from start to finish, and I wanted to see how long it would take me. So I put like, I think I can do this in 2 weeks, and actually I think I got it done in like 8 days. It's, again, very simple game, but I found that the engine itself, Godot, was phenomenal to use. I really enjoyed using it. Like, it made sense in my head. It was intuitive. It was lightweight, and I guess my brain works kind of the way that it does. There's a couple little like things where I'm like don't quite understand, but as I'm figuring it out, like it works out really well. It's open source, which is a big deal for me. I like being upfront and honest about things, how things work. It also allows me to go in and tweak it, very similar to like the Unreal Engine. With Unreal, and when I've worked on in the past, I've like had to make engine changes, or just to tweak it a little bit to fit with what I wanted or what the company needed. And Godot 4, which is a version I'm using, is very much like that as well. I'm not going to lie, the fee structure is really, really nice. There is no fee requirement. If this game does well and makes money, or if my studio does well and makes money, I'm going to give the developers as much money as I can afford, because I want to give back to a community that helped me. But it is nice that I don't have to pay an upfront fee, or as soon as I put it up and get a couple sales, I don't have to send it off to the engine. I worked previously in Unreal 4 and Unreal 5. I've worked in both of them. One on Rend for Frostkeep, and one on Clockwork Revolutions for an Exile Entertainment. And it's extremely powerful. It's an amazing piece of technology. I have nothing but respect for Epic Games and all that they've accomplished with it. It's just not, in my mind, suitable for what I need as a solo dev for the time being. For a big team, people who are extremely good at visual effects and all that type of thing, you can make amazing games in there. It's just not for me. The other problem I had with Unreal was that it's not as lightweight as you would like. So opening up the editor, as an example, in Godot takes me 20 seconds, maybe 30. And opening up the Unreal Engine editor can take up to 2 or 3 minutes. And if it's a big level, like a persistent level, it can take another 10 minutes to load for the first time. Like, that adds up pretty quickly in development. I want it to be fast, quick, like fast iteration, do things quickly and that type of thing. That's the benefit of being on a small team. People have asked why not Unity. I actually made this decision before the whole Unity debacle. Some of my ex-coworkers reached out and were like, hey, just want to make sure that you're not using Unity. after like the whole fee structure thing happened. And thankfully, I'd never planned on using Unity. I'd used it once in the past on Pantheon, just kind of when I was helping them out in volunteer work. I'm not a huge fan of. I just like the way the Godot works better. Like there were times when I felt like I was fighting the engine rather than working with it in Unity. And then honestly, like I'm very glad I wasn't planning on it, because I would have switched immediately upon the whole pricing announcement. And the problem is, like, once trust has been broken between, you know, two parties, it's extremely difficult to get it back. That's the update I have for today. We've got a playtest in about 2 weeks. I'm very excited to let people in, just like play the game. Again, it's not going to be set the world on fire. The goal is it fun in the basic game that it is? And if it's not, I have to change some things around. Like that's what it is. It's like interacting with the community, getting feedback from my community, like making sure that this is fun, this is going the right direction. Because if it's not, this is all pointless. So if you want to join the community, please come. There'll be a link in the description below. It's on a Discord. You can go to the website, luxcorstudios.com. And if you're interested in supporting, the best way to do it is buying a t-shirt or polo or a long sleeve tee like I have on right now. There will be more coming up on that store, so keep your eyes peeled. Thanks.